A private intelligence agency, PIA, is a private sector, non-governmental, or quasi-non-government organization devoted to the collection, analysis, and exploitation of information, most commonly through the evaluation of public sources, async or open-source intelligence, and cooperation with other institutions. Some private agencies make their services available to governments as well as individual consumers. However, most of these agencies sell their services to large corporations with an interest or investment in the category, for example crime, disease, corruption, etc., or the region, for example, Middle East, Vietnam, Prague, etc.
Hi, Jason. So big companies turning to Stratfor for intelligence information. So obviously there is quite a demand for their services. Is intelligence yet another piece of the military-industrial complex?
Well, absolutely. It's part of this integral technopoly that we now have, not only in this country, but across the world. It shows you that corporations can now buy intelligence networks that are heavily involved with our own U.S. intelligence networks. In fact, even the mainstream media is dubbing them the Shadow CIA. This is a firm that was created in 1996 by George Friedman. This man was a political analyst, political scientist. He'd spoken to DARPA, the U.S. Army War College, on many occasions, and essentially started this firm that is not only for hire, but has facilitated money laundering, paying informants overseas. Already we're seeing some of these emails leak where Stratfor is trying to cover their behind because they know that they're involved in illegal activity overseas with many of these informants, and they say they don't want to do the perp walk.
Romania actually just arrested 2 Mossad agents. The official details say 2 ex-Mossad agents. However, ladies and gentlemen, they were arrested alongside 2 other persons of interest who were running a private Israeli investigation firm called Black Cube. So the official story on this is that Romania authorities arrested 4 Israeli nationals for spying on the country's chief anti-corruption prosecutor earlier this week. A report surfaced of a cyber espionage network set up by the culprits.
I think this latest story has made my head spin in a way that even the initial allegations, as deeply horrifying as they were, didn't.
Today, yet another bombshell in the Harvey Weinstein saga. An explosive new story in The New Yorker, written by Ronan Farrow, reports on just how far Weinstein went in allegedly trying to silence and intimidate not only his accusers, but the journalists working to expose his alleged sexual misconduct.
What this story pulls back the curtain on is a set of tools that I truly did not know were available to the most powerful men in this country when they are bent on stopping allegations against them.
Farrow alleges Weinstein hired elite private security agencies, at least one of which deployed undercover agents to befriend a number of his accusers in order to obtain personal information and then use it to discredit them should they decide to come forward.
What is so striking about this story is just how far this effort went and how elite the operatives used were.
One of those groups was Black Cube.
That is an elite Israeli private intelligence agency staffed by former Mossad members in some cases. These are highly trained operatives who excel in using false identities, who construct front companies to cover for their false identities. This went very, very far.
Finally, we return to the Harvey Weinstein story and new revelations about the great lengths he allegedly went to in order to quash stories, silence his accusers, and intimidate journalists. The latest investigation in the New Yorker magazine chronicles those efforts. It includes details of how Weinstein hired private investigative firms to collect damaging information on his accusers, including one that used former Israeli intelligence agents to allegedly befriend and spy on actress Rose Mcgowan. So what kind of folks work at these investigative agencies? What do they do?
You know, these are an array of firms, and they would say that their work is very legitimate and that they do all sorts of open source research for clients and consulting for clients. But certainly in some cases, for Harvey Weinstein, these firms were either A, compiling information that was specifically, according to the documents that we have, designed to undermine and smear people, both women with allegations and reporters, and in other cases, were actually engaging in hands-on human intelligence tactics, insinuating themselves into people's lives using false identities.
Using false identities, and specifically what happened with Rose Mcgowan, the actor.
A woman calling herself Diana Phillip of Rubin Capital Partners, a wealth management firm in London, reached out to McGowan through agents working with her, and over the course of several months, met with her repeatedly, offering to invest in her company and to enlist her in a women's rights campaign. And over the course of those meetings, recorded secretly tens of hours of audio that were then relayed back to Weinstein in the form of transcripts. That same Diana Phillip reached out to me, actually reached out to and successfully met with another reporter, Ben Wallace of New York Magazine, multiple times, posing as a woman with allegations. She used several identities, and the truth of the matter, Judy, is that she was an undercover operative working for this Israeli intelligence firm, Black Cube.
The Observer newspaper of London has revealed President Trump's aides hired an Israeli private intelligence agency to orchestrate a dirty ops campaign against members of the Obama administration who negotiated the Iran nuclear deal. The agency was asked to dig into the personal lives and political careers of several Obama officials and their wives as part of an effort to discredit the deal. According to The New Yorker, the secret effort was carried out by Black Cube, the same firm hired by disgraced Hollywood movie mogul Harvey Weinstein.
Trita Parsi, I'm wondering if you could talk about Black Cube, the private intelligence, Israeli intelligence firm that the Trump administration reportedly hired to target former U.S. officials who support the Iran agreement.
Yes, so we have this, in addition to what's been going on here, we have this situation in which apparently the Trump administration has been using a foreign intelligence firm filled with former Mossad agents to spy and try to entrap American individuals and organizations. And apparently I was a target of this as well, with one person contacting me pretending to be a journalist and then trying to goad me into saying things that would be problematic for the Obama administration in order to put the Iran nuclear deal in a bad light and use this later on to discredit the people who were behind the nuclear deal and the people who were supporting it.